So you're thinking about buying a vacation house or a retirement house or a year-round house on Cape Cod. We work with people in your situation all the time, and I thought I'd give you a special opportunity today. One of the things we do for our clients is to try to save time once they're here. We, after our initial interview, figure out what towns would be of most interest to them, and then take them on a video tour of that town with a few examples of some of the houses that are available in their price range, in order to let them become familiar with that town. Even if they vacation there, sometimes they haven't seen it like a local might see it. All right, so today I have a client actually that I used to work with years ago, named Bill, who is looking for a retirement house, and it seems like Chatham, Massachusetts would be the right fit for him. He's very interested in the nature, kayaking, bicycling, sailing, fishing, those types of things. Chatham's ideal for that. Within his price range, we have a few decent opportunities. And so what we're going to do is take you around with us while I film this video for Bill, where I'll be introducing him to Chatham, Massachusetts. He has been to Chatham but has never vacationed here. So the first stop we're going to have is the Chatham Yacht Club. It is a wonderful sailing club. It is actually where my wife and I first met. We were both racing in the Chatham Regatta, and she won her class, and I won the class I was in. And all the winners, there were 5 different classes, all the winners went to dinner at the Squire. And luckily for me, she ended up sitting next to me, and we've been together ever since. Right, so Chatham Yacht Club has a special place in my heart, obviously. Okay, the place we went to dinner, by the way, is the Squire, which is an iconic restaurant in Chatham, which we will walk you by later in this video. We'll also include the biggest pros of buying in Chatham and the biggest cons. All right, so get ready. I think you're going to really enjoy it. One of the unique things about the Chatham Yacht Club is it actually is located adjacent to the Eastwood Hoe Country Club. The Eastwood Hoe Country Club actually opened in 1922 and is one of the most exclusive golf clubs on Cape Cod. But the Chatham Yacht Club is its own club right on the water. But one of the things that makes it unique is that you literally have to walk across the golf course in front of the first tee in order to get down to the Chatham Yacht Club. I remember, for those who are old enough, during the Watergate hearings, one of the days I was walking down here, actually Tip O'Neill, with several of the people from the Watergate hearings, was teeing off and allowed us to walk in front of them before they teed off. So that was kind of a fun little opportunity. Now I'm just going to show you real quickly the Eastwood Hoe Country Club. Beautiful club, and you'll see what view they have in a moment. We'll just step up over the hill and you'll see the view. By the way, here's the golf course to my right. All right, so we're going to be just walking up this way and go over this bluff. And on the other side is Pleasant Bay. All right, so now the view. Absolutely gorgeous view. Pleasant Bay is an estuary that is the largest estuary on Cape Cod, and it empties out into the Atlantic Ocean through a couple of cut-throughs. It actually changes from 1 to 3 cut-throughs depending on the winter and what kind of storms we had. When the cut-throughs change, it actually changes the the currents that we have and the effect of the tides. So here we are now at the Chatham Yacht Club. I'm walking onto their deck, and we'll show you the view that you have from here. It's just absolutely phenomenal. As you see, we have several boats out sailing. This is a Monday in August. And what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 boats out sailing, I guess. And here's the front of the Chatham Yacht Club. Now you look straight across. Don't know how well you can see it, but there is the Quasset resort right on the water. And that is has been picked by several organizations as the best beach resort in America. We also have another, Chatham Bars Inn, which has also been picked by different organizations as the top beach resort in America. That's also in Chatham. All right. So there you've got a quick look at the Chatham Yacht Club. Great place to learn how to sail, great place for juniors to learn how to sail, and also race or socialize. But this is a seasonal club. In one of our earlier videos we talked about the Orleans Yacht Club, which is open year-round, but the Chatham Yacht Club is a seasonal club. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the Chatham Yacht Club, and now we'll get back in the car and head towards the town of Chatham. And we'll finish up with showing you 3 different houses that could fit Bill's criteria. All right? Actually, since we're over in this direction anyway, I think I'll take you to the Chatham Lighthouse. Now, the Chatham Lighthouse is one of the iconic lighthouses on Cape Cod. It's right at the Chatham, I should have said, is at the elbow of the Cape. And so the Chatham Yacht Club is right at the elbow. And it is very iconic in also in maritime law, because this was called the graveyard of the Atlantic on the east coast of the United States. And the lighthouses helped keep boats relatively safe. So that is obviously a good thing. Also, this is where the Mass Humane Society started its Coast Guard stations, and, well, its life-saving stations that later became part of the Coast Guard. And so the formation of the Coast Guard starts here on Cape Cod and a few other places, because when they formed the Coast Guard, they merged a few different groups together to form the Coast Guard, and the Mass Humane Society was one of them. All right. Also, one of the most iconic Coast Guard rescues was done from the Chatham Coast Guard Station, I believe back in 1954. And there's actually a book and a movie about it called The Finest Hours. And it's a incredible story, gives you a real feeling of what the Coast Guard do for a living, and also gives you a great feeling for what small towns on Cape Cod are like. It gives you a wonderful peek into small town Cape Cod. All right, so I do recommend that book and or the movie. I've read and watched. I've done both. All right, so we'll just drive down here a little bit. I'll stick the camera out a couple of times and show you specific things as we go by. We're going by Riders Cove right now. Riders Cove is a beautiful little cove, mostly powerboats, a couple of sailboats, but mostly powerboats. And it has the Riders Cove Marina in it. In fact, we'll pull down and let you see that real quick. There's certainly a place, Bill, where you might want to keep your boat. All right, and again, it gives you easy access to Pleasant Bay and the Atlantic Ocean and Nantucket Sound. It's unique in that it gives you easy access to 3 significant bodies of water that you definitely don't want to miss any one of the 3. my right is the Marconi wireless station, which was the first station or wireless connection to Europe. Cape Cod, because it stuck out into the Atlantic, had the first cable that went to Europe, and that was the French cable station that's in Orleans, Massachusetts, and the Marconi station. And it was a breakthrough station that has played a lot of significant roles. It was the station that sent out the distress signal for the Titanic. It's the one that sent the ships that went to save the Titanic. Came from a transmission from the Marconi Coast Guard station. Also, it played a vital role in World War I. It helped triangulate the transmissions from the U-boats, allowing them to figure out where they were, so they could actually go out and sink them. All right. Also, trivia: the only actual attack on U.S. land in World War I was Orleans, Massachusetts, the next town up, and it was fired on by a U-boat. Okay, tight parking here. We're August on Cape Cod. All right, so this is Riders Cove Marina. As you can see, they keep boats on the boat racks. Okay, the way that works is you call them up before you want to go out. They come over with a forklift, lift the boat up, launch it for you, and you arrive, step on it, and go boating. Very, very simple. They also have slips here, and I'll show you the slips in a moment. They also have slips, and they also have moorings. Now, I say they have them. Understand, getting a space for a boat's very tight on Cape Cod. You have to work very diligently to get space, but we can help you with that. All right, Bill, we can make some phone calls and maybe pull in a couple of chips and get you a space. But here are the slips. And then above that you can see the moorings. And there's also moorings this way. Okay, so that's Riders Cove Marina. And it's a beautiful marina. In fact, I almost put my boat here a couple of years ago and still might in the future. We'll see. Okay, this is probably a good time to give you the first pro of living in Chatham. First pro of living in Chatham is nature and activities. I think Chatham has the best choices of water for everything other than being at the beach, because the reason I don't put it in the beach category is that there is no public beach per se on the Atlantic Ocean. Chatham has things on the Atlantic Ocean, but it tends to be on Monomoy and Island, and also on the outer beach of the Cape, which you can only get to by boat, pretty much. Okay, once in a while you can get there by four-wheel drive, but pretty much only by boat. All right, but it has Pleasant Bay, it has the Atlantic Ocean for boating, fishing. Monomoy Shoals is probably the best place to fish on Cape Cod, in my opinion. It has Nantucket Sound, which is just a wonderful body of water, all good for sailing, boating, fishing. It also has several rivers and estuaries where you can kayak very comfortably. There are islands out in Pleasant Bay that you can go and kayak around. You can kayak to Monomoy. It is just diverse in the number of opportunities to go and enjoy the water in Chatham. Also, you have bike paths, you have tennis courts, there's some pickleball in Chatham, hikes, beautiful hikes. The Conservation Society has done a phenomenal job of buying up land and putting nature walks to preserve the ecology of the Cape. And so that is definitely, to me, the single biggest pro of being in Chatham. Now, as far as the cons, the number one con is clearly the cost of living. Chatham is not cheap. All right, housing is very expensive in Chatham. Also, just regular items are expensive in Chatham. I bought gas yesterday for $3.48 in Hyannis. Gas here today is being listed as $3.89. Okay, it just, so I mean, it is like 40 cents more a gallon. It also has no large chain grocery stores. It has a delightful local grocery store, but it tends to be more expensive. Electricity is expensive. Just everything about living on the Cape, except the taxes, tend to be very expensive. All right, so that's the first pro and the first con. All right, and while driving to the lighthouse, why don't we throw in the second pro? The second pro is Chatham is a small community, and when you're here, you feel like you're part of that community. It is very, very welcoming. A lot of nonprofits to be involved in. A lot of groups that do stuff. There's a very active senior center. In fact, they're trying to get through a new senior center, although the one they have now is very good. And also, because it has a lot of retirees, there's a lot of people moving here who don't have their established friends necessarily, and so they're looking to make new connections. So it's very easy to meet new people. All right, so that's the second pro. The second con, which kind of goes in the same area, is because it is a retirement community and a vacation community, and far from any city. There aren't many jobs here other than in the service industry. If you want to be a waitress or clean houses or do carpentry or whatever, there's plenty of opportunity. But other than that, there's very limited job opportunities. So you need to make sure that you don't need to work when you get here, or that you have a remote job that you can do from here. Okay, we have a lot of remote work. In fact, we went through a big buying frenzy during COVID of people from New York, Connecticut, and Boston moving out to the Cape to work their jobs remotely. All right, the Chatham Fish Pier. Don't know if you can see it. It's right there. Great place to see seals. Okay, great place, great fish market right on it. Two big pluses, and we're coming up on the Chatham Bars Inn, which is just a beautiful location. In fact, I'll just pull in. I won't take a tour of it. It's too much right now to do a tour, but just for you to get a quick look of it, here's the front of the Chatham Bars Inn. Okay, up there is a wonderful deck. Bill, if you remember, you and I had lunch up there when you were visiting last summer, and you've got a view of the Atlantic Ocean right from there. It is phenomenal. Also, we have a life-saving boat that is here. This is similar to the boat that's used in the Finest Hours, that rescue that I told you about. Incredible story. There it is. Okay. The actual original boat, the boat that was actually used for that rescue, is actually at Rock Harbor in Orleans, and you can actually get on it if you ever want that experience. That's a fun one. Now we come across, and you can see this is where Pleasant Bay exits into the Atlantic Ocean. All the way down there is the inlet. When I was growing up, the inlet was right there, but it has migrated all the way down to there at this point. Quite a change. Okay, so our next one that we're going to be checking out is our least expensive one. It is at 52 Earls, E-A-R-L-E-S, Earls Way in Chatham, Mass. It's about 5 minutes away. So again, very close to Riders Cove and Pleasant Bay and Main Street, Chatham, and the like. All right, the 52 Earls Way is a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, just over 1,800 square feet, and lists for just under $1 million. So well within the budget. Now remember, there's a lot of other houses, Bill, that we can look at, but we wanted to kind of give you an idea so you can kind of focus what you wanted. Then we can go and do more extensive looking at houses. In fact, I can go and videotape the houses for you and stuff, for you've seen them before you arrive in 2 weeks. All right? All right, so last pro. The Cape tends to be very friendly. When my wife and I moved back here, we had forgotten how many times people have you over to dinner, how many times we have people over to dinner, cookouts. The Orleans Yacht Club has a night where the bar is open and the grills are fired up, and you bring down your own meals and cook them there, and everybody eats together. We have Friday night cocktails at Orleans Yacht Club. We also have, there's a place called Pleasant Bay Boating, which is community boating, which is on Pleasant Bay, that has social events regularly. My wife and I were surprised at how many times a week we're being invited out to social events, either at someone's house or at an organization, a nonprofit, or a yacht club, or something like that. That is a huge plus. It's easy to make friends and build your group of people that you're connected to. All right. And the last con is that we don't have a lot of diversity. It's just part of the Cape. It tends to be very Anglo-Saxon. We don't have a lot of African Americans. We do have some. We don't have a lot of Asians. We don't have stuff. We do have people in the service categories, from some Latinos in the service categories and the like. Some people from the Caribbean for service categories, because we're so short of labor. But diversity is not our strong suit. Now, that either bothers you or it doesn't, but that is a fact. All right, so those are the 5 pros and the 5 cons, and now we're 3 minutes away from our next house. Okay, so remember, this house is just over 1,800 square feet and just under $1 million. It's a very nice house. Again, very close to Main Street, very close to Pleasant Bay, very close to Riders Cove, and it's again a quiet neighborhood. There is someone cutting their lawn. That's the only noise I hear, and it's in the distance. But here's what the rest of the street looks like. I'm surprised. This is a really nice house for under $1 million in Chatham. Unusual for houses at this price range to be as nice as this. All right, so that brings us to the end of our quick tour of Chatham, Bill, and everyone else who's ridden along. Bill, if you have any questions, reach out to me. For everyone else, if you have a different set of criteria or a different town you want to know about, leave a note in the messages down below, or give us a call, or text us, or email us, and we will be more than happy to answer your questions and to give you a quick tour of what's available in your price range and in the setting that you would like.